So obviously you didn't get the reference.
No.
42. 42nd.
Oh, jeez.
I did it last week too.
Did you?
When I was 41? Yeah. That's why I wrote W.
Boy, not that was too out there.
Right. Well, I just didn't want to get too political. You know me.
Well, you'll notice by my name.
What now? Who? I don't know.
Things are not always clear to me.
Oh, well, nothing is ever clear to me. That's usually my downfall for everything. I apologize for being late today. I was finishing up my wife's anniversary present, her last one that finally came in this morning. And I thought I had plenty of time and I lost track of it. And so I had to rush up here to turn you on, John. And I don't mean in the biblical sense. I guess not biblical. See, I'm still trying to get my head into this zone because I was just making the bed.
In the biblical sense.
I meant in the little, like turn on the computer to turn on the recording to be able to get you.
Moses was turning on the Jews, and not in the biblical sense, actually.
In the biblical sense, yeah. Yeah. I was parting the waters.
Wow. Yes, you were.
Anyway, so that's what I was doing.
Well,
and
no apology necessary. And anytime the reason is because I was finishing my wife's fill in the blank, it's absolutely fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially after she got mad at me last week for quote unquote making fun of her. And I didn't think I was, but I could see how she could take it that way.
Oh,
the one time she decides to listen to the podcast, the one time.
You be nice to her. She just friended me on Facebook this week.
I saw it. Well, yeah, she commented this morning. She said, "Did you know that John and Lisa, that it was their anniversary yesterday?" I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that."
Yes,
John's my friend. I know these things.
Well, you're so kind.
But now she's your friend, so you're gonna have to put up with her too.
It's not putting up when it comes to Jennifer. It's delightedness.
No, it's putting up when it comes to me. That's it. It's not a happy anniversary.
I put up with you.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about her. It's not happy anniversary. It's happy spending the last 11 years having someone put up with my crap. I'm so happy that I found someone that could put up with my crap.
You sound happy. There's no question.
I am happy.
Yes, I know. That's what.
How was your anniversary?
Mine was delightful. We had a really nice time and had, just bevy of wonderful well wishes on Facebook, which is nice. And I think you and I have talked about this before, and that could preface every single comment I could possibly say. But
yeah, we should stop saying that because I say it way too much. I noticed that when I'm editing.
I know, I do too. I do too. It's like we're doing a disclaimer. Who cares?
We are. We're naturally.
They said that before.
Yeah, we have said that before. But we're natural born storytellers. And to tell a story, you always want to build context behind that story. I always find myself doing that. I have stopped myself before and said, I'm just building context. Please bear with me.
Which is beautifully said, by the way.
Thank you. It's all this practice we have on the podcast.
Yes, I think it probably is. So what I was pointing out was that my post was just as simple as I could make it. Sometimes you see people who put down flowery, "Oh, the love of my life," and I'm referring to yours. I'm talking about just in general. They tell a long story on Facebook, and I sometimes question, do you ever have that conversation face to face? Rather than on Facebook, where you're like living it out, and it's not, just anniversaries. It can be anything. It can be
pretty much anything, right? It wasn't Facebook, but I got burned once on that with my wife because we went to the beach right after Peyton was born, and she only had to be, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months old, something like that, with the family. And we went deep sea fishing, and my mother-in-law went with us, but my wife did not. And I was just chatting, and I've known, again, when we got married, I've known Jennifer for a very, very long time before we got married, and her mom, of course. And I was telling my mother-in-law how much I just adored Jennifer and how much I loved her and why, and all of that mushy gushy stuff, not on Facebook, but to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law tells my wife,
essentially the same as Facebook.
right, exactly. My mother-in-law tells my wife what I said, and my wife looks at me, why don't you ever tell me that? You've never in your life told me that. So I understand what you're saying. It's just a different type of Facebook.
Yep. Exactly. That's mother-in-law Facebook.
Yeah. Mother-in-law book.
So our friend Bill.
Yes.
His poor dog Lucky was sprayed by a skunk.
So Lucky's not so lucky. I didn't see that. Was that on Facebook?
Unlucky it was. I just saw it.
I missed that. I'm sorry, Bill.
Well, and so anyone who owns a dog or has owned a dog, it happens. And
it does.
I think we had our golden retriever was sprayed, and man, he got it full on face, chest, and apparently Lucky's was just a glancing blow. So oddly, that could have been Lucky. But yeah, I always have that skunk, whatever it's called, anti-skunk stuff to bathe the dog. Tomato juice works, I understand, but I'd rather have this other stuff that seems to work pretty well. Anyway, yeah, poor Bill.
Yeah, I remember those days. I had a German Shepherd that got sprayed by a skunk once. It was
especially
pleasant.
And Lucky has shorter hair. Actually, Lucky looks a lot like my dog Indy. Bill and I have compared pictures before, but the long-haired dogs like a German Shepherd or a Golden Retriever. Oh my gosh, it's like it just gets in there, and it's so tough to get them clean.
Yeah,
but
it's
and terribly smelly. Oh my gosh. When you drive by, a dead skunk in the road or something like that, you go, oh yeah, phew, it's a skunk. But when they're on your dog and you're washing it off, oh man.
Yeah, it's
just powerful.
Oh, and then it seeps in. It seems like it seeps into everything. And I remember after a little while, the smell had gone away, but my mom and I could still smell it. And people would come over and say, I don't smell anything. And we're like, yeah, can't you just smell that skunk? It lingers.
Well,
at least it maybe stays in your nostrils or something. I don't know.
So I remember there was a family, and I can't remember how long ago, but I remember the point behind it. Family whose cat got sprayed or something, and they came to church. Washing the cat, oh man, it was just terribly stinky, and she was right, because I smelled it on every one of them when they got to church. I'm like, oh my gosh, whether you shower or not, it really doesn't matter apparently. So yeah, it was rough book.
That's too bad. I remember growing up, and we had I grew up when I was very young. We lived in a small town, and it has nothing to do with skunks, but we had several kids that grew up on dairy farms, and they would come to school, and they had showered and they had cleaned their clothes, and they weren't dirty people whatsoever, but you could just smell the cow on them, the cow manure.
Yep.
It lingers, and I felt so bad. I mean, I was lucky that we didn't have in either of my schools a lot of bullying. So it wasn't a big deal. Everyone was kind of used to it, but I just, that smell is very distinct, and that memory is very distinct because of it.
And growing up too, we had, I would say, maybe not half, that might be a big number, but nearly half of our class, my class was made up of farm kids. And so, yeah, some indeed, you could tell more than others, I guess. And I'm not sure if they did chores in the morning or, what the difference would have been. But yeah, that's part of it. And having milked cows and worked in a barn and so on before, I'm not offended by the cow smell as you describe it. I mean, it really is manure, but as odd as it sounds, you get used to it. On the other hand, around the corner, probably a mile away, maybe, about a mile away from our house now, is a chicken farm. And dang.
Oh, worse.
Oh,
yeah.
And I'm not sure you ever get to that
Yeah.
point where you go, "Oh, that doesn't smell that bad anymore." I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's the same with
Oh,
pigs too.
chickens are bad. Pigs are worse though.
Chickens, I would put up there with pigs. I really would, in
Really?
past pigs, yeah. I don't know what,
Hmm.
if it's worse on some other gazelle farms. I bet they're really stinky too, but, uh
I bet. Yeah. Or how about elephant farms? Not farms. They're sanctuaries, but still.
Yes. I imagine that's terrible.
Speaking of, did we ever talk about the I can't remember the dates, and I don't know if it was late 1800s or early 1900s. One of our presidents tried to import um, what are the not water cows? What are they? Hippopotami.
Really?
They tried to import it because the meat is very similar to a cow when it comes to the texture and the taste, but they produce obviously a lot more because they're a lot bigger. And they also wanted to bring them into the South to eat away the vegetation on a lot of the swamp farm or swampland and try to rebuild that for farming and things like that. And
Hmm.
they were trying to use them in place of cows because I guess it was they um, produced a lot more meat, but also took care of the land a little bit better. And it
Yeah,
almost happened.
and, the other thing, they're not docile at all.
No, they're not docile at all. No. Not at all. But I
No.
don't I'm gonna have to look that up because there was I was fascinating and how close we actually got to having hippopotami instead of or is it hippopotamuses? I think it's hippopotami, right?
Hippopotami. I think you're correct.
It's very rare for me to be correct. So I'm gonna take this as a win. Check.
Don't I know it?
So yeah, anyway, I'll have to look that up because it was fascinating to read, we were very close to having those instead of cow farms.
Oh gosh, can you
Because
imagine?
I can't imagine, no. But I think cows, were they not imported as well? We didn't have cows indigenous to the United States.
That wouldn't surprise me. They would have probably come from Europe, and especially, well, the Swiss had cows. I know for before I would guess at least before the U.S. was even established.
Right.
So I'm sure that's accurate for France and Germany and Austria and blah blah
So
blah.
this is all kind of fun. We were talking about history and social studies and things like that. But the one thing you can tell I'm a marketer, the one thing that's popping into my head right now, John,
Yeah.
is how we do our titles, and I do 3 different things, and usually kind of funny, hopefully. They try to be, or ironic at least.
Yes.
I was thinking, this week, maybe instead of doing one of those 3, I'm just going to put moo.
Wow.
That would be a great title. That's going to be the title of this
I
episode.
like it. Moo.
Moo.
I think that. All right. So maybe we should try the new concise Nick. Because Nick does,
Yes.
and truly, I've said this before. I think you are brilliant at describing these nut rod podcasts that we go in 20 different directions. And
Well, I have to admit, I stole the idea. Every good idea is it's got to be original somewhere, but most good ideas that are used and used well are stolen from other people. I stole this from Top Gear, from Jeremy Clarkson, because if you notice, whenever they open the program, he opens with 3 different things by different hosts.
Yes,
that's where I got the idea.
I love the old Top Gear shows. And
Oh,
what's
me too.
The new one, the Grand
Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Grand Tour.
Gosh.
Did you watch the most recent season?
I did not. I'm still getting caught up.
Okay, then I won't ruin it for you.
I was late to the party.
You're going to be disappointed.
Really? Why?
You're going to be happy but disappointed.
Oh no! So somebody's leaving.
No. All 3 of them are staying, but let me just. I don't know how to tell you without ruining the surprise.
Tell me.
Let me just say the format's changing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not live studio audience?
I can't tell you that. I can neither confirm nor deny.
They're going to be on a dairy farm from now on, aren't they?
They're going to be there. Yeah. Well, they already are. Oh wait, suit. I said suit instead of shoot. I
I
don't
know
know
you did.
why that came out.
Doesn't matter.
But they actually, this season, the newest season, they actually are on Jeremy Clarkson's farm. The tent is on the farm. So technically, yes.
I have actually seen one of those. So maybe I have seen part of the new season, but I think the first one where they were first on his farm, because the other guys were talking about looking out the window at, as far as the eye can see, it's Jeremy's land.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
But that's a fantastic show. I really enjoy them. I've always liked British humor. It's very sarcastic.
Yes.
And I'm just drawn to that. I'm a very sarcastic person.
What?
I don't
When
I'm sure you haven't been able to tell.
Says Jon with sarcasm.
Or maybe that should be the title. Says Jon with sarcasm.
No, because that could be any title.
I like Moo. That's true. That's true. It's going to be Moo.
I think Moo is hilarious. And people who are listening to it right now, after being drawn in by your apt description, are going to be sorely disappointed, as they usually are when they listen to this podcast.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think it'll happen much sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 16 minutes in. 15. We'll give it a 50. It's 16 now. It'll be 15 by then. After I cut out pretty much all of your
most of my talking.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm still hearing some clicks and pops, and we'll see when I actually edit how bad it's going to be. But you do sound a lot clearer on my end.
Huh.
Based on first of all, let me apologize to everybody. We are 16 minutes in, and I don't normally address all of our listeners like this, but welcome to the Poddimouths Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I have to apologize for last week's episode because I couldn't clean it up. A lot of times I can get in there and clean up a lot of the
Sure.
bad stuff, the bad pops and the pips, and Jon kind of cutting out.
And my stupidity.
Last week, no, I don't. I definitely don't clear that up because I have to have someone to offset my stupidity, and you're just the perfect person for that.
Yes.
But I couldn't clean it up very well last week, and even my wife said I think something was wrong. Again, the one she actually ended up listening to. I think my headphones are going bad because I heard a lot of hissing and popping and stuff like that. And I said, no, that's just Jon's audio. I apologize. But as I have to apologize to everyone else, I did my best to clean it up. The very first thing I did, and for those of you who did listen to the last episode, you know that I was complaining about hashtag AT&T sucks, right? Very first thing I did the next day is I ordered Comcast. So I am no longer an AT&T customer. My download speed, well, it was a little slow this morning when we started, but I checked it last night and I was at 300 megs opposed to my, 1 meg the other day. This morning, again, it's a little bit slow, but I think that's I think that's just, there's something in the background running. Maybe I'm downloading something, but I'm only at 100 right now. But still, that's still better than 25, right?
That's awesome.
If I ever got up to 25.
That is
rarely.
Fabulous.
So I do hear you. I do hear some other things in the background. There's still some issues. We're going to keep hunting down all of them until Jon sounds like he's in the same room with me. That's my goal. But it does sound a lot better. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode and come back to us after such a rough patch last episode. Jon, I almost called you up and said, I think I'm going to skip this episode because it's so bad. Yeah. But it was so funny that I thought, I'm just going to float with it, and I hope our listeners can understand.
Yeah, I think everyone will be forgiving just because that's what happens sometimes. Welcome to the world of technology, and it's constantly evolving. It seems like, and I think about in the old days when I first got the internet, and I thought, dude, I am on it. Then this has been, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. I have no idea. But I remember it had to be 20 plus years ago in our old house.
Yep. I remember my first one was 1995. That's when I first got internet.
Yeah. So I was probably in that same time frame, so more than 20 years ago. But it was terrible. It was dial up, yes. And so the fax machine noise and everything. And I think it was America Online or the CompuServe or something.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
CompuServe, Prodigy,
and,
yeah.
You get online and you go, oh, okay, I guess this is kind of cool. And you really didn't understand. I didn't really understand the concept
Right.
at
It
first.
took you 20 minutes to download a 2-second porn clip.
Well, wow. Mostly I was just thinking a static picture, and it would take the afternoon. You might as well pack it up because you can't do anything else
Right. Yeah.
while you're downloading this picture from, grandma. Uh,
Is that what you called
so
her?
yeah, I, that's what she demanded to be called. And yes, so and now I'm so impatient anytime I'm connected that it's uh, like you, it's just such a joy to have, top speed internet. And now, there are a lot of places going with fiber, and it's going to continue to
Yeah.
change.
Well, speaking of, it was a funny conversation, and I was actually getting a little pissed, and I was trying to, and I think I did stay very, very positive and very nice to the person who was helping me at AT&T with the disconnect. My
Yeah.
biggest complaint, and I may have touched on this, is the top speed in my neighborhood was 25 megs, right? And I
Yeah.
did that not even 6 months ago. I upped my speed, and they said 25 is the max. And I gave them a little bit of crap back then because the reason I had stayed with AT&T when I came into this neighborhood, when we moved in, I had called them to cancel because I was going to go to Comcast. And they said, "Oh no, don't cancel. You're moving there right now. You'll get this speed, but there's fiber running outside of your neighborhood, and I'm sure we can get a tech to come in there and just run a straight line right to your house. It shouldn't be a problem." Then I moved in, and they said about 2 weeks later, I still didn't have it. And I'm like, I thought you said I could have fiber. And they said, "Oh yeah. We'll get right on that. We'll send a tech out." The tech came out. "Oh, I can't run fiber to your house. I apologize, but
Wow.
it'll come soon." So I said, "Okay, soon," meaning he said, no more than 6 months. And I said, "Okay, I can wait 6 months for that." We weren't doing a podcast yet. I can wait 6 months for that. 25 megs is fine. It handles what we're doing. And then, so we live here for about a year and a half, and I call up. I'm like, "I am never hitting 25 megs, and I'm supposed to be signed up." "Oh, we don't have you signed up for 25 megs.
Wow.
We have you signed up for 15.
Oh.
I'm like, "Okay, that's not good. Well, now that I'm calling a year and a half later, can I have fiber?" "Oh no, it's still not coming into your neighborhood. We can't do that. But hey, the fastest speed you can have, again, 25 megs. All right, sign me up. Fine. I'll give you I'll give you one more chance because I'm a glutton for punishment."
Yes.
So again, not even 6 months later, I call him up to cancel, or I call AT&T up to cancel, and they're like, "Well, what if we could double your speed?"
But that's what they always do, and it's not just AT&T. It's anybody.
It's everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my God.
But I said to the guy, "You told me, someone told me that 25 megs was the fastest I could get, not even 6 months ago." He said, "Oh no, I can get you up to 50." I said, "I'm sorry, I already signed a contract and I'm getting 300." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't beat that. But hey, I know that there's fiber running outside your neighborhood. I bet you I can get that hooked up."
You're kidding.
I'm like, "You know what? I'm not interested. I heard that before. I'm not interested. I'm going to sit with my 300. And you know what? When 5G comes out, maybe I'll call you back."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my, you had to see. I'm not sure I could have stopped myself then.
Oh, yeah, I needed to get off the phone
I'm
quickly.
sure you did. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay, so on the same topic, but a little bit different spin to it. Who handles your car insurance? We can say that, right?
Oh yeah. I just switched it actually. I was on Liberty Mutual and I switched to Farmers recently, like
Okay.
2 months ago.
And why did you switch?
It cost. I watch the rates, and when insurance rates go up and I can get a cheaper rate, I will do it. Now, when I say that, I don't look at the car. The rates they don't really change all that much. 20 or $30 maybe a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big deal, but it's not enough to make me want to change necessarily. But I look at
Sure.
homeowners insurance.
Well, especially if you have good service,
right? Exactly. Yeah. I look at
too.
homeowners insurance, and I was able to cut my homeowners insurance in half by switching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I ask you that to tell you this. We just recently swapped Lisa's car. So we talked about it before that we lease and have been in a nice lease car for the last 3 years. And the manufacturer, like they often do, had some special lease deals. And so we actually got out of the lease a little bit early and got Lisa into her new car. As we did that, the dealer told us of a factory plan with Costco.
Yeah.
And if you are a Costco member, then you can get a special price. And Costco also had a deal where they give you a shopping card, like a gift card.
Oh, nice.
And so the long and short is that we've been Costco members for a long time, but we upgraded to the executive membership because instead of a $300 gift card, if you're an executive, you get a $700 gift card.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's all good. And then they said, as an executive member, you get yada, yada, all these awesome benefits as well. One of which was insurance referral. And so Costco membership. And so I looked at it. I thought, what the heck? Well, while we're doing this, it might be a good time to do it. And I had been with American Family for many, many years. And even through a change of agent in our hometown here. And the new agent, I mean, I knew the old guy, so we went through him. He was a nice guy and had known through, church and stuff like that. This new guy had not even spoken to us. We'd changed cars a couple times and talked to his office help, and they were very nice, but this guy I had never heard from. So we went through the Costco program, and it saved us, get this, $1,400 a year.
Holy moly. Just on car insurance?
Yes.
Car and motorcycle?
And no, not even the motorcycle, just the two cars.
Wow.
$1,400 a year. And so I immediately said, boom, let's do it. And effective immediately, and did it all online. So it was easy. It's Ameriprise, but they work with Costco. So I'm assuming that, it's going to be, it's not like we need that much service with car insurance. We happily don't get in a lot of altercations. So anyway, so I just canceled the American Family, and guess what? Got a call from my agent for the first time ever.
Of course. Yeah.
And he said, well, it's the timing is bad though, John, because you guys are actually being lower. Your premiums are coming way down next month. And I said, how much? He said, like $1,000. And so half of me is still, that's not enough, which was the smart half. The other half is, I see it's much like calling the cable company and threatening to leave. Suddenly, isn't that great that you're getting this great discount now after we've paid through the nose for how many years? So that stuff just, I don't believe in coincidence very much.
No. And if you stay on top of it, stay on top of your insurance, and you get really good deals, and you also, it's hard. So one of the other things he tried to do,
Yep.
when I canceled my AT&T, was he's like, well, you're going to have to pay an early termination fee. I said, oh, I am? And then he looked back, he could hear him typing up on the computer. Oh, yeah, this is the end of your contract this month, huh? Uh-huh.
You knew that.
I knew when the contract ended. I knew when I was going to be done. So he's like, yeah, you don't have an early termination fee. Like, I know.
I know, but nice try. Funny.
Yeah, exactly. That was fun. I actually had fun. I think I said that in the podcast the last time. I am going to have fun canceling this. I said that somewhere.
Oh, you were not a happy guy.
No, not at all. I'm happy now though. And it screams. And I know we're going to have issues, but it's just so nice to I was actually sitting here. So I have a work computer. It's really old. I know I'm getting a new one soon. You just got a new work computer, right?
I did.
I'm getting a new one pretty soon, but I am usually waiting for this computer. It's so slow, and I'll hit a web page, and now the packets are coming down so fast that I have to wait for the computer to actually build the page instead of me waiting for the page to build. But I have my personal computer, which is a Mac, sitting right here next to me.
Yeah.
And I opened up some windows. We actually, for our podcast, have a CRM that we use. I opened up the CRM, and it usually takes a little while for it to download.
Mm-hmm.
And I clicked on the button, opened up Safari, and hit the quick link to get to our CRM. And I normally would just turn my body and start working on my work computer while I'm waiting for that to boot up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before I could even start turning, it was already up and loaded.
That's awesome.
It's like, holy crap, I love this.
Yeah.
And it's the little things in life.
You are speed spoiled right now, sir.
I'm speed spoiled. Yeah.
And you'll forget all about it in a week, if that.
Oh, exactly. I'll get used to it. Then I'll go somewhere where they actually have 1,000 megabit download, like fiber, and go, why don't I have this?
How quickly?
Well, the easy answer is it doesn't come to my house. It's right outside my neighborhood, but it's not going to come to my house.
I think in the middle of the night, you and I could do this. We'll put on, like the shoe polish under our eyes and the stocking caps, and we'll go out to your backyard and see if we can tap into the fiber.
Yeah,
don't
that
tell
would be good.
Me, but...
Well, it's in the front of my house. I am in the reason it can't get to my house is because I'm in the back of the neighborhood. I'm the furthest you can get away from the road, which is nice, except I'm sure everyone can hear my neighbor's dogs going nuts right now.
I can't.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm sure I'll hear it in editing. I'll cut it all out. But yeah. So interesting. In our neighborhood, we have a very low HOA, but we actually own our own roads. The city doesn't own our roads. Oh, it's my dogs that are barking. They're running the fence. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, so the neighbors' dogs, if we let our dogs out, the neighbors' dogs will go nuts and the neighbors will let them out. They don't look to see if our dogs are out, but then they just run up and down the fence and we can't get them back in. And all they do is bark. It's very annoying. It would be fine, but one of my dogs is very stupid. Just put it that way. He's actually very smart, but he will stick his nose through the fence and then he'll stick his paw through the fence. And we have had to take him to the vet now to get stitches twice because he'll keep doing that. So that's the only reason we don't like him running the fence is because he'll do that. And right now I see my other dog sticking her nose through the fence. So I'll probably have to stitch her nose next.
Oh, no.
Dumbasses. Anyway. The fiber. So we own our own roads in our neighborhood, and the city doesn't maintain them, but they need to be replaced. So I'm hoping that soon we have a ballot actually that came in the mail that we have to fill out to whether or not we want the roads fixed to get a special assessment through our HOA. And what they'll have to do is literally tear out the entire road system and then replace it to actually do it right. So I'm hoping that when they do that, they'll actually lay fiber in the neighborhood so we can have faster internet. That would be nice. That's my hope. Will it actually happen? No, because AT&T probably say, "Oh, we can't do it then."
all but this house right here.
Exactly. You guys are the furthest back in the neighborhood. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't go that far back.
Do it.
Yeah. That would be my luck.
I'm not sure it's luck. I think it's like calling Bill's dog lucky for getting sprayed. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going to go with that.
That's because we're brilliant.
Great minds think alike.
So do ours.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so interesting stuff about who Dave Ramsey is.
Yes.
Isn't he? Is he from the Nashville area, or
he lives in Franklin?
He does. Okay, good. All right. So I kind of knew the area. So his thing is living debt free, right? That's kind of his go-to thing. It seems like, and and you probably are debt free. I'm not.
Oh God, no.
But I want to be.
I want to be so badly. That would be a great thing.
It's just there are so many things, to consider and things you have to do. And of course, I'm in a lease now, and he would, "Well, you're an idiot." Well, I have different.
I disagree.
Certain things.
I don't look at it as true debt. I mean, it is, but yeah. I don't agree with his. We've talked about that on our leasing episode.
We have.
I don't agree with that concept.
Yeah,
I think leasing is a good thing.
And just as a reminder to people that, I essentially, because we're under the full warranty of a new car for the entire time we're in the lease, we have literally no concerns about large maintenance items. I mean, you still have to change the oil and stuff like that. But everything from tires, I didn't have to replace the tires on the last car.
Yeah.
I was getting close, but I didn't have to. And other than oil changes and rotate and balance tires and so on to make them last longer. That's really all we did for the entire 36 months we were in that lease. So how I justify it is a lot of people will end up paying for maintenance items like tires and belts and hoses and heaven forbid something even more than that, engine, transmission, whatever, which is quite expensive.
Yeah.
I never have to worry about that. And it's kind of a good thing. But we do have a loan out on the truck, which I think
again, if you've got a good deal, you have to do your research. If you find a good deal and it makes sense and your truck will maintain its value and you won't be upside down in it very long. So, you have to weigh all of those things. If I would have known what I know now, if I would have known then what I know now, my last car, I wouldn't have bought it. I would have tried to lease it. And that because I never got out from under it.
Well,
I had to trade into a lease to get out.
And that's what happens sometimes. And I mean, the reason we bought the truck rather than leased it was because it was 0% interest.
Right. So it's like paying cash, but you don't have to pay it all up front.
Exactly. And so it worked out. I mean, that has continued to work out just fine. So the debt that we have is not stupid and there are reasons for it, but he would still say it's still debt, so maybe you don't need that nice truck.
Right. Well, and which it technically makes sense. But I agree with you. It's the maintenance free. One of the reasons we do have debt is because of I drove the wheels off that last car and I had a lot of maintenance. I had a lot of things that needed to be repaired.
Yep.
Just standard maintenance. And, we are not in a position to have a large just chunk of money that to do a lot of these repairs. And I don't like getting into financing everything.
Yep.
So, you have a $2,000 car repair. I don't want to finance that. I want to pay for it. So, and again, you technically are financing when you put it on a credit card, but still. Right. But then, it seems like everything happens all at once. You have to have major repairs on the car. And then the next week, okay, your air conditioning goes out and it's 90 degrees outside in the house. So you have to replace the entire AC unit. That's not cheap.
No.
I would say that 90% of our debt that right now on our credit cards are big home repairs or big things like our washer and dryer, our washing machine and dryer. They both crapped out on us.
Ugh.
So we had to replace those. And of course, I'm not going to buy, you could buy cheapos. That's the easy way out. But why would I buy something cheap that's going to break down again for me to have to buy more? So I'm going to buy more expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll be replacing.
So exactly. And it all compounds. And these are, hashtag first world problems, but they do compound. So that's where a lot of our debt comes from. And it's not like to be honest, it's not like we couldn't just pay for it. But I would, like a lease, like a loan, I would rather at a low percentage. And right now, the cards that I used were 0%.
Sure.
I'd rather pay it over time.
Sure.
So yes, there's debt, but I have to do it? Not necessarily. I just chose to do it. And I would do it again, especially at 0%.
And there are things, absolutely. And there are things, that Ramsey talks about that I could certainly learn from and should do better. Budgeting. I'm not as good at budgeting as I should be.
No, neither am I.
And I should be better at it. It's just, it's kind of, I kind of count on Lisa to do a lot of that. And she does well with it. It's just, we still don't budget well together.
No.
So anyway, that's one of the things I can certainly do better. The counter, he says there are several things he says come into play with that, like, not being afraid to be countercultural. And I really don't give a crap about that.
No, right.
I used to probably when I was younger, but you're kind of the same way, aren't you?
A little bit. There are a few things that that intrigue me. Let's put it that way. I'm intrigued by certain counterculture lifestyle elements. And I think I would love to try them, but I think after I try them, I'd probably swear them off. It's kind of like I love going to visit my dad.
Yep.
I love going out where there's no one around. You can't really see the end of the property because it's so far out there. There's just so much land. And I say every time I go out there, I could do this. I could live here. This is a great lifestyle. And then a week goes by and you're like, I need to get the hell out of here. I need to get back to civilization. I need my coffee shop. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think that's and I know that we have discussed that because it's one of those things, almost like a vacation,
mm-hmm.
Vacation from reality in several levels,
Right.
and so I think that's behind my RV intrigue as well.
Yeah.
Something different. I'm not sure I would like it after a month on the road, though. So
right. Well, I think, and so with my recent not illness, injuries, I guess, my recent surgery,
you sound
I have
great,
been. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been out of work, not out of work, but I haven't worked after that. I didn't work for about 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, my doctor would have said, you do not need to be back on the road. And I was out driving because I just could not stand not doing anything anymore.
Right.
I had to get back to some sort of normalcy. And so I agree with you. I think it would be a lot of fun. I would love to drive around the country, which is what I do for a living anyways, and just kind of hang out. But there would be a point where I would need to do something. I'd have to have some sort of, I'm not doing it as a vacation. I need work, right? So I like to say I'm a recovering workaholic because before I got married, I was a workaholic. I'd be in the office until midnight if they let me. It's just the way I was. Now with my wife and now definitely with my daughter, I do try to make a concerted effort to spend time with them. I fail sometimes. I think we all do, but I sometimes feel a little bit lazier than I should or shouldn't because of that.
Yeah.
But I think I could probably do what some of these people that we watch on YouTube do and actually, make that their job. I think I could be happy doing that, but I'm not convinced.
And there are people even that do that. So I I guess oddly enough, not coincidentally though, I was watching, her name is, Pippi Peterson.
Yep, I follow her
she's
now.
one person. Yeah, so I do too. And she's coming off the road, at least her last episode that I saw. And she has this big fifth wheel, I don't know, probably I don't think it's 40 feet, but pretty darn close, a trailer that she's lived in for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just wiped out from it. And she has, top of my head, has like 116,000 followers.
Wow.
Which is a huge number. And so
it's about half of what we have, but it's still a big number.
She'll catch up with us at some point, probably.
Yeah.
And she is much easier to look at than we are, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we have a podcast and not a YouTube channel.
Exactly. We would have no listeners. Well, Bill, he knows what we look like.
That's true.
And Matt.
Well, actually, pretty much, I would say half of our listeners know what we look like because we work with them.
That's true. And the other half, though, think we're these dashing, handsome, which we are.
We are, definitely.
I want to continue
20
to
years
promote
ago.
that BS, but as long as we can.
Yeah. I have a voice for radio and a face for, wait, no, how is it? I have a face for radio and a voice for silent film.
Wow, very good. Yes. So anyway, but the whole Pippi thing is she's going to probably retain a lot of her people though, because now I think she's flipping a house. And so
fun.
I guess. I mean, but she got tired from being on the road, and I can totally understand that. I guess, but I'd get tired flipping houses too. So maybe.
Well, and I was just going to say, so my very first house, we've talked about this. There I go again. We've talked about this before. My very first house was a fixer-upper, and I was all gung-ho for the first year. And after that second and third year, I'm like, no. Then the house I sold the house. Yep. It looked, if you walked in and didn't know the amount of work I did, you'd go, oh, this place is gross. This is horrible. How can anyone live like this? But I would have to show, and this is how I sold it. I actually put pictures up on the mantle because I was living in Nashville. It was in St. Louis. I put pictures up on the mantle about how it looked before I got in there and did what I did. So it's, yeah, I
So
was
I'm
done.
assuming it was worse before.
Oh, it was much worse before.
Okay.
Much worse before. There were holes in the wall. There carpet probably from the 70s
Nice.
still on the floor.
Nice.
Oh, I mean, it was nasty. It was nasty.
Was there
Very dirty.
carpet from the 70s still on the wall?
Yeah. Yes.
That's possible.
Carpet in all the bathrooms.
Oh, ick,
from the
yeah.
70s.
I remember when my mom redid her bathroom at her house when we were growing up, and she used this new thing. It was brilliant. Carpet squares up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Harvest Gold, of course, was a color.
Of course. Were those the ones from your bedroom that you told us about?
The what?
You had carpet squares in your bedroom because you could just replace them when it flooded. Remember? You told us that.
Oh, that was downstairs. No, it wasn't carpet squares. It was actually roll-up rubber-backed carpet there.
Oh, nice.
But she had the carpet squares upstairs in the bathroom. And,
wow.
It's and I love my mom. This is her taste, though. She is a wallpaper lady and always has been. We had this really interesting old school wallpaper in our house when we were growing up. And she now was fortunate enough to design a house, the one she's in now, and it's beautiful. It's just a wonderful house. But she put a lot of wallpaper in it, including in the bathroom.
Wallpaper is coming back.
That's what wallpaper people say. I'm not look at it as an accent wall or something like that, but she actually has it in the bathrooms, and as oddly enough, it's actually peeling, and it always peels in bathrooms because
because of the humidity from the shower.
The carpet squares, they would get less sticky and yick. Yeah, it was just nasty. Yeah. But in her defense, that was 1968 or 9 probably.
Yeah. So anyway. Interesting. Along those same lines, a lot of what we know nowadays, do you know who's credited with it? Who's credited with kind of taking us out of the wallpaper phase? I know we've gone back and forth, but initially, back in the early 1900s, who took us out of the wallpaper age? And
out of wallpaper?
Yeah, out of wallpaper into solid painted walls.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Nope.
Dang it. Good guess, though.
It was good. That's a very good guess. I love Frank Lloyd Wright.
I love Flank.
I love Flank.
Yes,
Flank steak, Flank.
Well, and you think about it, the reason I thought that might be a good guess was because his designs had so much in terms of rock and wood and very little in the way of anything, synthetic like wallpaper.
Right. He was not an architect. He was he was a hotelier, Mr. Ritz.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's why it got into fashion, because obviously the Ritz, we use that name now, putting on the Ritz, and that's ritzy stuff like that. We don't usually use those terms anymore, but this documentary that I watched recently was commenting on that. He said that he wanted in every bathroom in the Ritz in his hotels to be solid painted walls because they were easier to clean. And part of the allure for these really fancy hotels was the fact that every single room was super, super clean. And that's how he marketed it, because that was about around the time of, I think, cholera and a lot of these diseases going around in Europe. So yeah, that's how he did it. And that's everyone kind of started following suit. So a lot of people stopped using wallpaper.
The whole Ritz story is very interesting, even to this day. And I've read a few management writings surrounding the Ritz. And we're not of the ilk to stay at Ritz hotels very often, although there are some. They're associated with Marriott. And you and I have said many times that we're Marriott people and have been for a while. So, but we stayed we occasioned to stay at the Ritz in Detroit, which sounds really, I'm not sure it's still there. Yeah. But we did back when we lived in that area some years ago. And the thing I will remember forever is when we pulled up and they valeted the car, the guy greeted us and asked for our names and how long we're staying, and like he was just making conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we introduced. I said, John and Lisa Quaddy, and we're here for a couple of nights, and blah blah blah. He said, well, welcome. It's so great to have you, and blah. And so he takes the car, and they actually took our bags in for us, and we got to the counter, to the front desk, and they said, well, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Quaddy, how are you? As if they were expecting us,
right,
and knew who the heck we were.
Mm-hmm.
He just had an earpiece and a little CIA microphone, and told them what our names were, and they used it. And some people would say, well, that's disingenuous.
But is it?
Well, actually, that's digital marketing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So anyway, it's something that has stuck with me my whole adult life after that, was that, they took the effort, made the effort to just go that little extra step. And they've done many other things too, but that was the one that we experienced right away.
Well, Ritz, it very interesting. I got a lot of confidence thanks to the Ritz. I don't remember where. It wasn't St. Louis.
The Ritz Crackers.
Yeah, the Ritz Crackers, exactly. No, my mom, we were going to something, and we had to go to the Ritz for some event. And you can't ask my mom, but you can actually ask one of my old bosses. This is a memory she still reminds me of many, many years, 20 years later, that I had this thing about being presentable. If I go into some place and you need to be wearing a jacket, I'm the one person that will remember to wear a jacket. Mm-hmm. I'm just that type of person. Yep. And there was a time, and we had to go in, and my mom was taking me in, and I said, Mom, I'm not dressed to go into the Ritz. This is not, I think I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And she said, Nick, it doesn't matter where you are. If you walk in and you act like you're supposed to be there, no one is going to question you.
Good advice.
It was a great advice, but that whole thing with the Ritz, they don't really care. They're going to treat you the same. So her saying that, and then me being treated the way I was at the Ritz, gave me enough confidence to believe that for awesome. As long as I can remember. And I even say that to Peyton now. I said, how you act is how people are going to respond to you and treat you.
Yes.
If you act polite and you do things correctly and you act like you belong there, people are they're going to accept you, and they're going to think you belong there. So yeah, it was a really important thing. And again, that's just a memory that I had of my mom and of the Ritz.
Really, really good advice. And it's interesting because I had my own spin on that. Mine was not nearly as concise nor well-spoken as
I actually said something concise.
Well, it sounds like it. I'm
going to take that. I'm going to take and run with that. I'm going to go downstairs here in a little while and say, honey, I actually said something concise.
You'll probably beat around the bush before you tell her.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll say, hey, we were just talking, and
no, I have to put context in front of this, okay?
Of course. Now, John and I have talked about this before, Jennifer.
Right, exactly.
So that my thing is a little bit different. Mine is, if you're driving, always carry a clipboard and a hard hat, and you can walk on any job site.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the same.
I for some reason, I thought you were saying when I'm driving and you're carrying a Glock. That's where I heard. I'm sorry. That's where I was going. I was like, yeah, they're going to let you go anywhere you want if you're carrying one of those. Well, some people.
But it doesn't hurt to have a hard hat and a clipboard along with.
Right. Yeah. I like that. That works. Uh-huh.
Open carry always does help with that. There's no.
Right. Or a badge. If you carry a badge, they're going to let you into a lot of places.
Typically, I just don't want them to look too closely, because mine would be like a Looney Tunes something badge.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I was going to say FBI, Federal Body Inspector.
It's me. Hey, speaking of body inspecting and things that have changed, low-rise jeans.
They're not popular anymore, right? That's high-rise jeans now again, back to the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Okay, a couple of questions. Who the heck is in charge of that crap?
It's the Pentaveret.
Yes, but the fashionistas seem to just say, well, we're going to change now. And I go, wait a second. Do you know what an awesome thing low-rise jeans are, especially on women? And my wife knows this is not just something that I'm coming up with now. We lived through the high-rise jeans in the 70s and maybe early 80s.
Right.
Uh, why does it have to come back to
I don't
that?
know.
I'm going to be 90 by the time low-rise jeans come around again.
And yeah, I don't know how that works. It's kind of like the hipsters who wear the really tight jeans. I'm like, that's just not healthy.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
I can't do that. The slim fitting jeans, I'm out. I'm out.
I certainly do not have the body for that. I
Oh,
have
me neither.
I
Yeah.
they say the Bible says treat your body as a temple, and I treat mine kind of as a pool hall.
Right.
And so that was actually my buddy that used to say that.
I like that. I like it.
It was accurate for him for sure, much like it is for me. So yeah, I'm not going to fit in skinny jeans, not to.
Yeah.
And even if they built them to fit me, there's no way. Oh, look how hip he is. Yeah, here's this 50-ish man wearing tight jeans. It's usually not a good look. It wasn't a good look for me when I was 20.
Yeah. I consider myself not necessarily a stylish person, but I'll wear more modern things, but I am not going to try to do the fads. You give me something that's going to be classic and will always. It doesn't matter if you put me in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. I'm going to be the clothes that I wear are going to be timeless across all of them. So, if I time traveled back to the 80s, you'd still think I looked like I belonged in the 80s for what I wear.
Yeah, see, and that's that's a good quality and one that my stepdad used to embrace. I have never followed that. These days, maybe more so, like sport coats and things like that. I don't.
Jeans and a t-shirt. I mean, you're fine with that for the most part.
That is me, and there's no question. That's typically the way I roll. And shorts, maybe if it's really hot out. But other than that, suits I used to wear in the 80s were the shoulder pads, and there was a place in Chicago called doesn't matter, but I'll think of it, Stewart's. And Stewart's was right off Michigan Avenue, as I recall. Once a year, they had a sale, a 3-for-1 suit sale.
Mm-hmm.
And their suits would retail for over $1,000. And we thought, oh my gosh, this is which just tells you, they made profit even when we bought 3 of them. So you know how much profit they made most of the time otherwise.
Yeah.
But we did. There were several guys I worked with, and we went in and bought these high fashion men's suits. And they really did. I mean, they were very nice compared to the JCPenney ones that I had. With reversible vest and 2 pair of pants. But they were totally out of style within 5 or 6 years. Sure. But yeah, boy, it was a good look back then, though.
Well, and I guess I have to clarify a little bit. It's not like I can take my shirt and go back into the 80s and fit in. What I'm saying is I wear slacks, shirts, jeans, t-shirts, things that are always in style. It doesn't mean that I'm going to wear a sports coat, even my sport coat from my wedding. 11 years ago, it's out of style. I'm not going to wear that. Doesn't mean I'm not going to wear a black sport coat, but I'll probably go out and buy a new one that's modern and fits into the style now.
Sure.
But it's a classic style. The way you dress never goes out.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been wearing jeans and t-shirts ever since jeans were invented.
Yep.
For miners, so it's and farmers. That doesn't go out of style. Yes, the style of those go and change, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
You and I,
the listeners get what I'm saying.
We should start a new trend. So a couple of trends that you and I, first of all, we need to bring back low-rise jeans for women, especially, not for dudes.
I'm hearing this is something that you're passionate about, John. I'm getting that feeling.
The jeans are one thing because women, in my opinion, typically look better with low-rise jeans. Some people disagree, and that's okay.
A lot of people right now think they look better in yoga pants.
And I would I think I've come up with a solution. Well, no, and I don't disagree with that.
You're stumbling.
I'm
You're trying to
stumbling
figure.
because
You're worried that Lisa's going to listen to her first podcast here pretty soon.
Lisa has been the one that turned me on to yoga pants.
I see. Okay.
Because she was a fitness instructor, so she wore them all the time. But my contention is that we could bring Hooters back to some prominence if they changed the waitresses' outfits.
Well, Hooters is up for sale. You could probably buy them and do that.
Because you and I could become Hooter millionaires.
I'm not a big fan of Hooters.
Oh, I'm not either. That's why we can fix it. First of all, you don't have them wear short shorts with stockings, pantyhose underneath.
You have them wear low-rise jeans? Is that where you're going?
No, yoga pants.
Oh, yoga pants. Okay.
I'm telling you that, and you don't have to do the crazy inventing boobs push-up bra. Just look presentable and nice and cute outfits. That's half the battle for Hooters. Because I've always liked I never minded their wings. Did you not like?
It's been a long time. I was in college the last time I was in a Hooters. Okay, well, yeah. I'm not. That just doesn't appeal to me.
We need to buy them then, because then it'll start to appeal to you.
Maybe. Because it's profitable. But
yeah, well, that's the part that would appeal to me. Let's be clear.
Yeah. There's my cheap ass side.
Yeah, I don't give.
I could care less about all that. Just give me the money.
Exactly. That's how we become.
Show me the money.
Oh no, maybe that isn't.
Yeah, that's our counterculture right there
for sure. All we care is money, not yoga pants. But I think the thing that makes me the maddest about the jeans thing is the fact that somebody somewhere, France or wherever, some fashionista can say, now it's time to go to high-waisted.
Yeah.
And so instantly your entire wardrobe is worthless.
Yes, that's the part that, again, going back to the money, that's the part that annoys me the most is it changes so quickly. It's kind of like technology. I'm a little bit more, because I'm a technophile, I'm a little bit more apt to spend $1,000 on a new computer when I have to. But on the same side, it's really hard for me to say, and I'm facing it right now. I'm looking at my closet because I've lost in the last couple of months. I've lost 25 pounds.
Yes.
And all the pants that I just bought don't fit. All my shirts are baggy on me. So I have to go out and buy clothes that fit again. So I actually look presentable.
Now you're understanding why my closet looks like it does. I have 4 different John sizes in my closet.
There you go. Yeah.
And so.
And I used to have that, but when we moved, I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff because I didn't want to take a bunch of stuff with me. So I had one size because I hadn't changed sizes in a long time. Yep. I needed to, I just hadn't. And now I've got to go back. So yeah, for me, it just boils down to money.
Yeah.
And I just don't like having to spend money. I love spendending money on the things I want to spend money on. I don't like spending money on the things I don't want to spend money on.
You
clothes having just one
countercultural.
Yeah, a lot of and most people will, if they actually looked closely, if they actually cared, because most people don't care, but if they actually cared and looked at all of my polos, I have not purchased maybe but one polo in the last 10 years.
Yes, but
every polo I have has a logo on it, and I got it for free from somebody.
Yes, like the one I sent you.
Exactly. Yeah. I probably, even if it's our logo on it, I probably wouldn't have paid for it for myself.
Way to go. We tell our listeners not to buy them.
Well, I'm not saying that. They can buy as much as they want because other people don't share the same opinion I do.
You are countercultural.
I am countercultural.
What a maverick.
I am. Yeah. Yep. But you know what? I want to hear from our listeners what they think about low-rise and high-rise jeans, because obviously John's passionate about it.
Well, mainly just because of the way it comes about when they make those changes, because they're going to come back again. I just want to live long enough to see it.
Well, we probably could have chosen a different topic when it comes to fashion instead of, sounding very sexist. But, I'll just let that one slide.
It's not really sexist. Have you seen dudes in low-rise jeans?
Yes, and I don't like that.
Okay, all right then. Yeah,
they can wear high-rise. No, I hate high-rise jeans.
Okay, so
why don't we just have a regular size jeans? Let's put your belt around your waist. Keep your pants above your waist so we don't see your underwear. I'm perfectly happy. Yeah.
What
That's a whole other thing
with low-rise jeans, especially for women. Not that it doesn't apply to men, because it does. Muffin top thing.
Yeah. Well, I have that. Doesn't matter what Rise jeans I have. I've got my muffin top.
But you've lost 25 pounds, so you have less.
I have.
Muffin top.
I have. It all came out of my brain.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You always
let's get feedback. Let's get some feedback from our listeners. They can head to our website at www.poddimouths.com. They can subscribe there, or subscribe on their favorite podcast listening tool, app, whatever they want to use. They can listen from the website. They can also go to our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those good places. They can get there right from the website. And leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know a little bit more about your opinions on low-rise jeans versus high-rise jeans, and much, much, much more. One of these days soon, we're going to have merch on our website. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
We're still going to title this Moo.
Oh, yeah. We're going to title this one with Moo.
Moo.
It's going to be the most popular episode. I can feel it.
How did we get to low-rise jeans from Moo?
From cows. Yeah, from Moo. Well, if you guys have the answer to that, let us know.
Do it. And oh, by the way, Technophile, you don't have to say www anymore.
I know. I did that on purpose, though.
To annoy.
Yes.
Literally. To annoy me.
Literally. Yes. Yes, exactly. I know, right?
You're awesome. Thanks, brother, for the time.
You're even better. I hope everyone has a great week. John, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.